Hey everyone, welcome to the Bruce Williams channel. Let's do today's wrist check. I have the Air King on today. I actually put this one on and not the Hulk, even though I'm in the middle of my honeymoon with the Hulk. We'll see how long it lasts. I might be switching watches later on today, but for right now, I'm wearing the Air King and loving it. So I've got a question here from a viewer. It's actually two questions that I think are really valid, that a lot of you will have some opinions on. So please share those, share your input, your suggestions in the comments section. So this one comes from Steven. He said, I've got two questions really. If you had to pick one as a daily wear tool watch that can do it all, would you go with a Sinn 104 black dial on a bracelet? Or would you go with a Monta Ocean King or a Monta Atlas? Steven, personally, I prefer Sinn over Monta. That might be an unpopular opinion, but I really like what Sinn's doing with the 104. I've owned it a couple times, and I think it could be an even better watch than it currently is, and it already is very popular. A great go anywhere, do anything type watch. I would love for Sinn to update it, because really they haven't touched it apart from giving some color options, bracelet options, a version that carries an ETA movement as opposed to a Solita. But they could address it and make the model even better. Imagine it if it had some brushing on the case somewhere to kind of give some delineation or some variety to the all polished finish. Imagine if they put applied markers or a polished handset or a ceramic bezel that's loomed, right? They could update the 104 and make it even more popular than it currently is. And I think it would sell even better at a higher price point with more features, right? It could sell at $2,000 alongside Monta, right, with the Ocean King and the Atlas, and be just a great watch. So I'm kind of rambling here, but between the two, I personally prefer Sinn, though I do admit Monta brings a pretty good product to the market for the price point. So let's go to the second question here. I also own a Rolex Explorer 214270 Mark II. I've loved owning it, but sometimes I hesitate wearing it as frequently as I would like in fear of getting judged by friends or coworkers. I've been thinking of selling it away to pick up two mid-tier watches that I could wear more regularly. Would you do it? And if so, what would you pick? I've been thinking Nomos, Speedmaster, Black Bay 58 or 36, IWC, or possibly an El Primero. But would love to hear what you would pick up. Many thanks, Steven. So Steven, this is what I would say, and I really hope I don't come across as a tool that's attacking you. I'm really not attacking you personally. I'm going to give you my opinion here. And I would not sell your Rolex to buy two mid-tier watches at a lower price point. I think that would be a mistake, and I personally would not do it. Now, the fact that, you know, back to your email, you love the Explorer, but you hesitate in wearing it as much as you would like because of fear of judgment. And I found personally, most people don't even notice you're wearing a watch. And if you are wearing a watch, they don't notice if you're wearing an expensive watch, right? I wear my Rolexes most days, and I love wearing my Rolex sports models, but nobody bats an eye, right? Actually, there was one time I was at Niagara Falls with my family, and I'm always looking at other people's wrists, but that's just something weird that we do as watch idiot savants. And I noticed a guy wearing a Daytona, white dial Daytona, with the stainless steel bezel, right? Not the ceramic one. And I said, hey, I like your Daytona, man. And he kind of covered it up and looked at me like I was about to pull out a knife and stab him, right? It was the most awkward thing. And I said, oh no, it's cool. I'm wearing my GMT Master 2 today. And it was just awkward. And I don't do that anymore unless I'm at a watch event and I know I'm with fellow watch nerds. Most people, even if they're wearing a nice watch, they don't notice your wrist. They don't notice what's on your wrist or what you're wearing. And they're not going to judge you for wearing a $6,000 watch because, again, they're not even paying attention. Unless maybe they know you're a crazy watch guy, then they might look at your wrist more often. But even then, I don't think it really happens that much. Now, to pull back a little bit, you're thinking about selling your $6,000 Rolex Explorer and buying $6,000 worth of two watches. In my mind, they're kind of the same thing. You still have quite a bit of money in watches. And so if you're afraid of judgment, you're just diversifying a little bit. You're not addressing the issue, so to speak. So most non-watch people, they probably already recognize Omega. They might not know Tudor or Zenith, maybe IWC. But even if you flip out of that Explorer and you get 2 other watches, the same thing you're worried about could potentially happen, because they're still luxury watches worth equivalent, worth about the same as the Rolex. So hopefully I made sense there. I know I'm kind of stumbling a little bit, but it would be a mistake. I would not sell the Rolex. I would not take a step down. Maybe you're feeling a little bored with the Rolex and you're using this as an excuse to buy multiple watches that you think will kind of diversify and you'll have more fun with. And I would say if you do that, you're eventually going to get bored with those watches as well. And you're probably going to miss the Explorer, the more expensive watch that you would have sold. So again, I wouldn't do it. If you are a little bit bored right now, this is what I would do. I would not buy a Sinn. I would not buy a Monta right now, but I would not sell the Explorer. And I would buy one of the other watches that you're interested in. Maybe the Black Bay 58 or the Speedmaster or the El Primero or an IWC, or hey, maybe even the Sinn if you really love the Sinn more than the other watches. And diversify in that avenue, right? Add to your collection that way. But no, I keep the Rolex right now. Resist the temptation to sell it would be my opinion. But just my opinion, I have no skin in the game, right? This is not my money. This is not my collection, not my wrist. So ultimately do what you think you would enjoy the most. And guys, please shout out in the comment section what suggestions you would have for our friend Steven here. What should he do with Monta, Sinn, Rolex, the other watches that he's exploring? And shout out any experiences you may have had with watch spotting in the wild, right? If you have any stories, kind of like the one I had at Niagara Falls, go ahead and sound off in the comment section. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today. I appreciate all the interaction. It means a lot to me, so I want to thank you for that. And we'll see you in the next video.